I was still standing on the scaffolding, trying to finish up some damn site reports on my phone, when it rang. I had sweat running down my back, my boots full of drywall dust, and the sun was beating the hell out of me. I didn't even want to answer, but it was my wife. I figured maybe she wanted to check in from the company barbecue, the one I was supposed to be at but couldn't make because the site manager called me in last minute. I put the drill down and answered, wiping my face with the inside of my shirt. I heard music and laughter in the background, people joking, a country song playing way too loud, before her voice cut through all of it. "Hey everyone, listen up," she shouted. Loud, way too loud, like drunk loud. I pulled the phone back from my ear, frowning. I'm officially done being married to this man. It's over. Everything went dead silent on the call. Even the music faded like somebody turned it down. Some guy in the background said, "Is she serious?" I didn't say anything for a second. I could hear the blood rushing in my ears. My jaw clenched, but I didn't give her the satisfaction of blowing up. "All right," I said calmly as I could. "Take care." Then I hung up. Just like that, I dropped the phone back in my tool bag and looked out at the half-finished wiring job in front of me. My hands were still shaking, but my head was already racing ahead. She said it was over? Fine. Let's make it official. I finished the reports, sent them in, and got right back to work. Not because I wasn't pissed, but because I needed that job to stay steady. I needed that money in place for what came next. This woman thought she was embarrassing me in front of my coworkers and her little group of barbecue wine moms. But she just handed me the cleanest exit I could ask for. In front of witnesses, on speaker. That was her play? Then mine was already in motion. I drove straight home after work that night, didn't stop for dinner, didn't turn on the TV. I walked in, kicked off my boots, and sat at the kitchen table with my laptop and phone. My hands weren't shaking anymore. I wasn't angry. I was just done. First thing I did was pull up our credit card account, the one she used for salon visits, gas, and dumb crap like scented candles. Canceled it in under 5 minutes. Sent the new card to my shop instead of the house. Next, I logged into my HR portal. Took her off the health plan. No more cleanings at that fancy dental place she liked. No more free prescriptions. She'd always bragged about how lucky she was to be married to someone with union benefits. Well, she gave that up with one sentence. Then I pulled up my business account, the one I use for side jobs and materials. She used to dip into it every now and then to pay her phone bill or buy groceries when her paycheck ran short. I pulled her name off as an authorized user. Locked it down with two-step verification. I moved quiet, deliberate. No yelling, no long texts, just action. The whole time, my phone kept lighting up. Texts from her, missed calls. Then her mom started calling too. I didn't read a word, didn't listen to a single voicemail. Just watched the list grow longer while I kept checking off tasks. By the time the sun went down, I was walking through the house looking at everything differently. Not with sadness, not with nostalgia, just with new eyes. This was mine. The house, the bills, the truck in the driveway, the life she got bored of because it wasn't flashy enough for her little group of backyard influencers. Next morning, I stopped by the hardware store on my way home from the gym and picked up a new lock set. Got back to the house, unscrewed the old ones, popped the new deadbolts in like it was just another Saturday chore. Didn't take more than 15 minutes. She wasn't getting back in. Not through that door. That afternoon, I sat on the porch with a cold bottle of water, scrolled through my contacts, and blocked her number. Then blocked her mom. I didn't owe either of them a response. Not after what she pulled. And you know what? As the silence settled in, something weird happened. I felt good. Like calm. Not relief. Not revenge. Just peace. No more second-guessing. No more wondering if I was losing my mind when she came home smelling like tequila and told me she was just out with the girls. I grilled a steak that night. Sat on the back deck by myself. Crickets going nuts in the grass. Neighbors' dogs barking. Breeze coming through the trees. It hit me right then how long it had been since I'd felt this settled in my own skin. Like the noise in my head had finally shut up. She'd been slowly pulling me apart for a while now. Laughing at my job, rolling her eyes when I talked about clients, acting like I was some small-town joke. But she was the one who made a fool of herself. And now she was watching the door stay locked, literally and figuratively. I didn't gloat. I didn't brag to anyone. I just kept doing what needed to be done. My buddy Jace texted that night, said he heard something went down at the barbecue. I told him, yeah, she wanted out. I opened the door for her. Then I muted the group chat, turned my phone face down, and let the house go quiet again. Not lonely quiet, just right. Next morning, around 7:30, I heard the screen door rattle. I was halfway through a cup of coffee, standing at the kitchen counter, still in my gym shorts. I didn't rush. I already knew who it was. She started knocking, light at first, then harder. Hello? She called. Why can't I get in the house? I walked to the door and looked through the peephole. She was standing there in the same black romper she wore to the barbecue. Makeup smudged, hair in a messy knot that didn't look intentional. Barefoot, no purse. I unlocked the deadbolt, opened the door just a crack, just enough to see her face up close. She blinked at me like she was shocked. Seriously? What the hell is this? You don't live here anymore, I said. She threw her hands up. Are you kidding me right now? You changed the locks? Because of a stupid joke at a cookout. That wasn't a joke. Oh my God, she scoffed. You're being so dramatic. I didn't flinch. I didn't raise my voice. I just stood there, one hand on the doorframe, body blocking the gap. You said it was over, in front of 30 people. That's not a joke. She let out a dry laugh, looked away like she couldn't believe I was being serious. We were drinking. People were laughing. It was just dumb fun. No, I said. It was clear, loud and clear. You wanted out. I gave you the door. She stepped forward like she was about to push past me. But I didn't move. Her eyes narrowed. I can't believe you're doing this. You're really throwing everything away over one comment. I leaned against the door. You made the choice. I'm just following through. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. You don't even want to talk? Not even a conversation. You didn't ask for a conversation at the barbecue, I said. You made a speech. She stood there, breathing heavy, trying to come up with something else. But she didn't have it. I started to close the door. You need to go. Unbelievable, she muttered. You're really gonna do this? I nodded once. Yeah, I am. I shut the door and locked it. Didn't slam it. Didn't say another word. I walked over to the living room window and watched her through the blinds. She stood there for a minute like she thought maybe I'd open up again. Then she pulled out her phone. I couldn't hear her, but I knew that stance. The hand on her hip, the tight jaw, the fake tears. She was calling her mom. Again. And probably telling her I'd lost it or that I was acting crazy. Same playbook as always. But this time I didn't care. She paced a little on the porch, barefoot on the concrete, then finally stomped off toward the street like she expected someone to pick her up. I didn't bother watching her leave. I'd already seen enough. I let the blinds fall shut and went to pour another cup of coffee. I hadn't even finished my second cup when the phone rang again. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. 30 seconds later, it rang again. Same number. I figured it was one of my vendors or a supplier trying to chase down a PO, so I picked up. Big mistake. It was her mom and she came in swinging. You selfish little coward, she snapped. How dare you freeze her cards? You left her stranded with no money, no gas. What is wrong with you? I didn't yell, didn't flinch. I just let her run her mouth for a few seconds before cutting in. She ended the marriage in front of half the company, I said. I just believed her. Silence on the other end for a beat. Then, you're punishing her over one joke? Click. I hung up, blocked the number. Done. If they were gonna play victim, they could play it without me. The next day, I was back on site by 8. Running conduit in a half-renovated dentist office downtown, trying to stay focused. One of the HVAC guys from another crew walked past me, gave me a weird look, then doubled back. Hey, he said, that your wife at the company barbecue? I didn't say yes or no, just waited. He laughed awkwardly. Man, she kinda lost her damn mind, huh? I didn't defend her. Didn't throw dirt either. She said the marriage was over, I said. So I acted accordingly. He nodded slowly. Yeah. Well, folks are still talking. People didn't know what to do when she said that. I did, I said. He gave me a look like he wasn't sure if I was joking or not, then walked off. I went right back to pulling wire, but something about the way I moved felt different. Lighter, straighter. I didn't even notice it at first. Back in the truck, I looked at myself in the mirror. I looked the same. Same face, same ball cap, same 5 o'clock shadow. But I didn't feel like a guy holding on anymore. I felt like a man finally letting go. Around lunch, I pulled into a parking lot, found a divorce attorney near downtown, and called to make an appointment. Receptionist asked me if it was urgent. I said, not anymore. I'm just ready to get started. I showed up to the law office 10 minutes early. Brick building, second floor, smelled like fresh carpet and old coffee. Woman at the front desk asked if I needed water. I told her no thanks and just sat quietly, hands folded, waiting to get this done. The lawyer was a short guy named Kessler. Bald, plain tie, didn't smile much. I liked him immediately. He shook my hand and motioned me into a small office with a big oak desk and 2 chairs that looked like they'd never been used. So, he said, opening a folder. What's going on? I told him everything. Straight, no fluff. The barbecue, the speakerphone, her exact words. He didn't interrupt, just nodded and jotted some notes. No kids. Nope. Who owns the house? Me. Bought it before we got married. Vehicles. 2 trucks. Both in my name. Titles are clean. He raised an eyebrow for the first time. Does she have a job? Part-time. Works at that dog grooming place off 4th. She make enough to support herself? She always said my job was enough for both of us. Kessler leaned back in his chair. Then this should be pretty clean. He pulled out some papers, started going over next steps. Filing location, separation date, timeline. I nodded through it all. What are you looking for in the outcome? He asked. Just my stuff. No drama. She said it was over. I'm agreeing with her. He smirked like he didn't hear that one often. All right then. Let's get the ball rolling. 15 minutes later, the paperwork was filed. I signed where he pointed. The moment I capped the pen, it was like 100 pounds came off my chest. I left the office lighter than I walked in, until I saw her. She was leaning against the passenger side of my truck like it still belonged to her. Full makeup, tight jeans, hair done up, like she was about to do a photo shoot, not beg for her marriage back. I walked straight to the door, didn't stop. Wait, she said, stepping in front of me. Can we talk for a second? I don't think there's much to say. She reached out like she might touch my arm, then pulled back. I messed up. Okay. I was drunk. I was trying to be funny. You were clear. Tears started welling up, real or fake, I didn't care. You're just gonna throw away everything? Just like that. I opened the door. No. You threw it away. I'm just not chasing after it. She sniffed, voice cracking. You don't even want to try to fix it? I looked her dead in the eyes. You said it was over, so I'm helping you move on. She stood there frozen, mascara starting to run, trying to come up with something else. I got in the truck, closed the door, started the engine. Didn't peel out, didn't throw a parting shot. Just drove off calm. Let her watch me leave this time. She showed up again 2 days later, this time banging on the door like the house owed her something. I'd just gotten back from a job, covered in attic insulation, arms scratched up, dead tired. I looked through the peephole and saw her pacing in the driveway, phone in hand, face tight with fake urgency. I didn't open the door right away. I just stood there, letting her stew. Finally, I cracked it open and stepped outside, closing it behind me. Her eyes lit up, like she thought she was finally wearing me down. Can we please just talk without you slamming the door in my face? I never slammed it, I said. You just weren't welcome. She pulled a deep breath through her nose, like she was prepping for a speech. Look, I know I screwed up. okay? But you can't just cut me out like this. We've got history, years together. You're just gonna throw all that away." I crossed my arms. "You didn't seem too worried about history when you grabbed that mic like it was open mic night at the Improv." She rolled her eyes hard. "You're really gonna keep bringing that up? It was one bad joke. One night. It wasn't a joke. You were serious. So I took you seriously." Her tone switched fast. "My mom kicked me out, you know? She's sick of the drama. I've got nowhere to stay. I can't even afford rent right now." I leaned against the porch post. "You said you wanted independence. You got it." "You're being cruel," she snapped. "You're really gonna watch me struggle just to prove a point?" "No point. Just following through. You made the choice, not me." She tried a different angle, soft voice, eyes wet. "You're ruining my life over one dumb mistake. You know me. You know who I am." I looked her square in the face. "Yeah, I do. That's why I'm done." Her voice cracked. "I was just drunk. Everyone was laughing. It wasn't meant to hurt you." "Still did," I said. "And it wasn't just the words. It was the timing, the place, the damn performance of it. You didn't care what that did to me. You cared how loud the reaction was." She stared at the ground, lip trembling. For a second, I thought she was done. Then came the last card. "Fine," she said. "If you're so hellbent on this divorce, I won't sign anything. Let's see how clean it goes then." I didn't blink. "You'll be served regardless. I've got a lawyer now." Her mouth dropped open like that actually surprised her. I turned, opened the door, and stepped back inside. "Go stay with one of the people who laughed at your joke," I said, just before the door shut. I locked it behind me. No yelling, no arguing, just done. I heard her storm off the porch, slamming her car door like it would make a dent. But the peace in that house didn't even ripple. Sunday morning, I hit Joe's Diner like I always did. Same booth near the window. Same waitress, Lisa, who already knew I wanted black coffee and the bacon and egg combo, extra crispy. Joe's was our old spot, back when things were good. Before she started treating me like I was the maintenance guy in her life instead of her husband. I didn't go there to reminisce, I just liked the food. I was halfway through my toast when I heard the little bell over the door ring. Didn't think much of it until I caught a whiff of too much perfume and saw heads start turning. She walked in like it was prom night. Full makeup, hair curled, high heels clicking like gunshots across the tile. Fake surprised expression planted right on her face the second she spotted me. "Oh wow," she said loud enough for half the place to hear. "Fancy running into you here." I didn't say a word, just kept eating. She strutted over, slid into the booth across from me like she still had the right, and set her bag down with a little dramatic sigh. "We should talk," she said. "You've been avoiding me." I set my fork down. People were already watching, not even pretending not to. "You ended this marriage in front of 30 people," I said. "I believed you." She blinked like that actually stung. "I was drinking. People were egging me on. You know how those events get." "No, I don't," I said, "because I was working. Like always." She looked around, noticed all the eyes on us, and leaned in like we were sharing some private little moment. "I didn't mean it like that," she whispered. "I just got carried away. I was trying to be funny." "Didn't land," I said. She pulled the tissue from her bag and dabbed at her eyes that weren't actually crying. "I've been so stressed. Between work and my mom and all the pressure lately." "You mean consequences?" I asked. She finally dropped the act. "I'm trying, all right? I'm trying to fix this, and you're just sitting there like you don't even care." "I do care," I said. "That's why I'm not letting you spin it." She leaned back like I slapped her. "You always do this. Always make me out to be the villain." "You did that part all by yourself," I said. "You wanted a reaction. You got one." She stared at me, lips pressed tight, like she thought silence might make me fold. I picked up my coffee, took one last sip, and stood up. "Sometimes," I said, loud enough for the tables around us to hear, "what you ask for is what you get." I tossed a 20 on the table, nodded at Lisa, and walked out. Behind me, I heard chairs scrape, hushed murmurs. Nobody was defending her. Nobody was rushing to comfort her. The door shut behind me and the sun hit my face. Felt clean, like the truth finally spoke louder than her noise. That week, the town woke up. Didn't matter where I went, the gas station, the job site, the gym, people had something to say. Quietly, of course. Nobody around here liked drama in the open, but they damn sure paid attention to it. One of the younger guys at work, Tyler, pulled me aside while we were loading out conduit. "Hey man," he said, scratching the back of his neck. "I heard what went down at the diner. You handled that better than I would've." I just nodded. Didn't see the point in yelling. She said what she said. He looked like he wanted to ask more, but I walked off before he could. I wasn't looking for sympathy. I wasn't looking for backup. I just wanted it done. Later that day, Jace shot me a text. "Jace, bro, people are talking. They think she's completely lost it." Me, not my problem anymore. I kept it moving. What really surprised me was her family. Her sister, Heather, stopped returning her calls. I only knew that because one of the girls who works at the salon with her told my buddy's wife. Apparently, Heather told her, "You embarrassed yourself and the whole damn family. Don't drag me into it." A couple of her friends started popping up too, messaging me on Facebook with half-hearted apologies. Wish I'd stopped her at the barbecue. We didn't think she'd really go through with it. She was trying to be funny and it just came out wrong. I didn't take the bait. I replied to one of them and left it at that. She made her choice. No hard feelings. Because honestly, I didn't have any. My house was quiet, clean, peaceful. I could fall asleep without the TV blasting some Real Housewives nonsense at midnight. Wake up without stepping over her shoes or empty wine bottles by the couch. I started hitting the gym again. Nothing crazy, just 3 days a week. Eating better, sleeping better. My old buddy Nate and I started grabbing lunch again like we used to before she got weirdly jealous about every female waitress who looked my way. It wasn't just a breakup. It felt like I'd finally stopped dragging a boat anchor around my ankles. I didn't say any of that out loud, but people could see it. Lisa at the diner raised an eyebrow one morning and said, "You look about 10 pounds lighter and 5 years younger." "Good sleep," I told her. What I didn't say was, "It's the peace." No tension in the air. No passive-aggressive silence. No guessing what mood I was walking into after work. I could breathe again. And maybe the town would move on, maybe they wouldn't, but I already had. She lit the fire. I just stopped putting it out. I was at the mall picking up a new pair of work boots. Walked straight through the food court, didn't think twice about who might be around. Then I saw her. She was standing behind the counter at one of those pop-up kiosks that sell overpriced phone cases. Wearing a company polo, hair pulled back, eyes already locked on me. She stepped out before I could pass by. "Hey," she said, like we were just two old classmates bumping into each other. I gave her a nod. "Hey." Then I kept walking. I didn't stop, didn't look back. Wasn't cold, just clear. Couple hours later, my buddy's girlfriend, who works at the pretzel place 2 stores over, texted me. "She cried in the back room after you left, like full breakdown, just so you know." I read it once, then deleted it. Next day, I was back on the job when my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Out of habit, I let it ring. Then it rang again. Same number. I sighed and answered, already knowing. It was her mom. Again. "She's suffering," she said, voice tight with that fake politeness people use when they're trying to guilt trip you. "Can't you just talk to her? 5 minutes. That's all she wants." I stood in the corner of a half-finished kitchen, drywall dust on my sleeves, drill still buzzing in the background. "Talk about what?" I said. "She made a joke out of our marriage." I didn't yell. I didn't cheat. I didn't humiliate her in public. I just believed her. That's it. She knows she messed up. She showed me who she is, I said, cutting her off. "I'm done." Silence on the line. I waited 1 second, then hung up. Blocked the number. That was the last rope connecting me to that family. And it snapped clean. No texts. No calls. No surprise visits. Just quiet. And that was the first time I felt sure it would finally stay that way. A week later, I sat across from my lawyer while he slid a folder across the desk. "That's it," he said. "Final judgment signed. No alimony, no joint debts, nothing tying you together." I opened the folder. Her signature was there, right under mine. She walked away with her clothes, a couple boxes of junk from the garage, and whatever was left in her checking account. No house, no trucks, no leverage, just done. I shook Kessler's hand, told him thanks, and stepped out into the parking lot. It was a sunny afternoon, dry breeze, clean blue sky. I stood there a second longer than usual, not staring at anything, just breathing, and I smiled. Not that polite kind people throw out at gas stations or church potlucks. I mean, really smiled. Genuinely. First time in a long time. As I walked toward my truck, I passed one of her old friends. Marcy, I think. She was coming out of the nail salon, sunglasses on, coffee in hand. She saw me, did a little double take, then offered a small, hesitant smile. "I heard it's all finalized," she said. "It is." She paused. "You handled that with class." I nodded. I just took her seriously when she showed me who she was. She didn't have anything to say to that. Just looked down and walked off. I climbed into the truck, turned the engine over, and let the radio play whatever it wanted. I didn't care. Now I wake up early without a pit in my stomach. My savings account's finally going in the right direction. No random Amazon packages showing up. No mystery charges on my cards. I cook my own meals. I sleep in peace. I keep my house how I want it. Most mornings, it's just me and a cup of coffee on the back deck while the sun climbs up over the trees. She's still in town, bouncing between two jobs. A kiosk and part-time cleaning at a vet clinic. Last I heard, she's not close with her family anymore. Her sister doesn't speak to her. Her mom gave up. The attention she used to crave? Gone. And the best part? I don't feel a damn thing about it. Losing her was the best thing that ever happened to me.